All right, welcome back. I already smoked, so I forget what episode we're on, but welcome back to Let's Be Blunt. It's me and Terry Gray again. We are going to talk about some new fun things. We have an event planned in South Dakota with our smoke shop, and then also Hot Dog Week is coming up here in Laverne. And if you haven't drove into Laverne lately, when you get onto the main street, look left. We have the biggest nutcracker almost done. So, yeah, it's fun stuff happening all in town.
It's cool. The nutcracker is patriotic. He's got his hand over his heart, but he has no head at this point. I see a head behind a building near the nutcracker, but my understanding is they're waiting for a crane, and it's supposed to be up by July 4th.
Yeah, so for the listeners out there who have no idea why we're so nutcracker crazy, you want to kind of give them a description of why? I know it was really just one cuckoo bat, but, let's kind of get into the details.
My understanding is we have the largest nutcracker collection in the world right here in Laverne at the Laverne History Center. And it was donated by a lady who's, I think she's maybe the president of the History Center. I'm not sure, but she's part of the History Center. She donated her collection, and it kind of became a thing. So all kinds of businesses in town have nutcrackers in front of their businesses, and now the city, not we, but the city is going for the largest nutcracker. I don't know if it's in the country. I think it's in the world. I think it's the largest in the world. And that's going to be their claim to fame is the largest nutcracker. People are going to come off the interstate, take pictures, and then they're going to keep driving to Main Street for High Fidelity and Urban Legend. That's the idea, at least.
Yeah, the two biggest attractions, my smiling face at High Fidelity and the big nutcracker. So, yeah, fun times. It's just amazing, guy. Nutcrackers are just an incredible thing. Before my grandma passed, she had a huge collection too, so every time I see these, it just kind of gives me a glimpse of the past, but some of them are creepy looking. I have one outside my house, and it's just always standing up on the wall, and I swear the eyes follow you. Every time I'm walking by it, the eyes, I swear, follow you. It's like some of them are a little bit creepy.
I think nutcrackers are a love-hate thing. You either love nutcrackers or you hate nutcrackers.
Yeah, there's no middle ground.
Right. But yeah, Hot Dog Night, you said that's coming up this week, Zach? Is that right?
I don't think it's this week. I think it's coming up this month, though. I know it was scheduled. Nope, not even this month, but very soon. July 11th, I believe. I'm not too familiar with the local events. I just know a bunch of people come into the shop and tell me about them. We can't do too much with them since we're 21 and up. We would love to sponsor a bunch of these events, but sadly we can't. But I do try to have my employees off and let them go. I know one of our workers, Heather, was out there with the food truck, and I think she watched the parade, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was last weekend, Buffalo Days. The Main Street is kind of the new highway for the summer because the construction on Highway 75. So they couldn't do the parade on Main, but they did it in the industrial park. They had a huge turnout at the car show, which is really cool. But yeah, we're ahead of ourselves on the hot dog night. We'll talk about that some other time.
I'm just so excited. It's hot dogs.
I could tell. So excited.
Oh, I even went to Sunshine and got me a little grill and started practicing. So if you want some good hot dogs, swing by Urban Legend.
But what's more exciting than Hot Dog Night is our event in Sioux Falls, our downtown location. We've announced the name this week. It's going to be called Reefs and Relics, and we're going to have a glassblower from Colorado. His name is Bertoni, and he specializes in jellyfish and underwater creatures and flamingos.
And a bunch of he does gnarly squids. He did one with Windstar, who's a female artist. It was like a stained glass window, but I believe he even got second in champs for the glass games. He did a UFO alien thing with the tractor beam, and it kind of incorporated everything that he normally makes. There was a squid getting sucked up, there was some reefs in there getting sucked up, and a bunch of other fish and stuff as well. I don't remember if there was a boat at the bottom, but there could have been as well. But yeah, all Illuminati, if you don't know what that glass color is, if you hit it with a UV light, it just shines like lime green. So when you shined it with a light, it literally looked like a tractor beam was sucking all these things out of the sea.
Yes, we're excited for Bertoni to be here, and then our local Sioux Falls artist, Garner Glass. He's going to be also glass blowing live the 11th and 12th of July. We're excited for that. There'll be glass blowing side by side. And Garner Glass, he also does underwater, more of cartoony type stuff, though, instead of more fish stuff. But he's up and coming, and he's doing great work. So we're excited for both of those people. We're going to have crazy deals like always. I'm sure we'll do some radio broadcasts, food trucks. We'll have all kinds of stuff going on. So keep that in your calendar. July 11th and 12th. It's our 7/10 sale, but it's after 7/10.
Yeah, and if you want to know a little bit more about Gardner Glass, I won't say what he does, but he has a theme with a certain person under the sea who makes hamburgers. So if you could solve a riddle pretty easily, you could kind of put that two and two together. Pretty gnarly a theme. I have one of his tops for my Dr. Dabber too. It's pretty rad. It was a nice dry top. It fits really well, and it just looks very cool as well. He also is starting to do a bunch of like different themed glass where he doesn't get his prep from a lot of glass artists, which is unique. He makes his own. So he actually is selling some of his prep to glass artists. So he's getting a bunch of collabs out there. And he's on Instagram at Gardner Glass.
It's actually at Garner.glass.
If they put Garner Glass, they would find him.
No, I didn't find him yesterday. I was looking for him.
You're shadow banned.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's exciting coming up, and as everybody probably knows, it's 710. You flip it upside down. It's oil. So Zach's going to tell us about the oil stuff that's happening at High Fidelity.
Yeah, so I've got some concentrates in on the shelf, I'd like to say, for roughly a week now, and I had tons of people coming in asking, one, if I had it out, and I don't, because it's refrigerated, and the reasoning to that is it is not a crumble or a cold cure, as in like a rosin. It is more of like a sauce. So say you go to Chick-fil-A and you get a Polynesian sauce, you know how it's still like a thicker sauce, but if you were to dump it over on its side, it would still fall out of that. Imagine the same thing with your dabs. So if I don't store those properly, you're going to open them up and you're going to have dabs on the top of your cap. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about different types. So shatter is going to be more of a stable slab. So they call it shatter because sometimes it literally looks like a sheet of glass and then you touch it and sometimes it shatters like glass. And then another type is crumble, and that kind of looks like dirt. So, and it's called crumble because the name also follows along. You know, you get your dab tool along and you try to scoop it up, and it's probably going to start crumbling up on you. Then there are sauces, which are a little bit harder to scoop, but they are usually a little bit more flavorful because they're a little bit more terpier. And then my favorites, which is rosin, there's still a bunch of them. When you look at waxes, a lot of people think, oh, there's dabs, there's one type of wax. There's like 15 types of forms of dabs, and that's just underestimating it. There's something called new Pantella, which I can't even describe because it's a certain hash form that they only do in Italy. So it's just weird how different countries also extract hash and oils and flour. Also, we had a ton of people asking, I'm tired of these distillate vapes. When are you getting live resin ones in? Well, guess what? Disco has came and they have blessed you guys. We have our first live resin vapes about to hit the shelf either today or tomorrow. So they will be there. They're going to be a full gram from Disco. I believe the strain was Orion, and it is a hybrid. It was testing roughly around on the upwards of 70s, so it's going to be a nice one. I know everyone who works is going to go ahead and grab their self one because they're all fans of vapes. I'm usually more of a concentrate person, but I'm probably going to try one myself as well.
And Disco was here last week, huh? They were in the shop last Thursday. They did a sit-in in the store. They talked to the customers as they came in. That was a pretty cool event.
Yeah, and Disco, they're not just a cultivator, they're a band. So it's kind of cool. Like, while they were there, I was playing their music, letting people know, like, they're not just incorporated with cannabis. You know, they just give good vibes and good times. So pretty cool, and they don't use soil. So a lot of people don't understand how that works. So it was kind of cool that they were there to explain it to people. So with people are probably at home and they're like, how do you grow a plant with no soil? So they have all of their plants lined up in a row, strung up in the air, and then they walk down through the roots, and they literally spray the nutrients onto the roots itself. You don't soak it into the dirt, the soil at all. You literally are soaking it straight into the roots. They don't use any pesticides. It's just straight nutrition, straight into the roots. So pretty rad to see something like that happening. So
yeah, I'd never heard of it until you sent me a picture. And I'm like, what's going on there? And you explained it. I'm like, wow, that's insane.
Yeah, and the premise is it's supposed to have faster yields, better flavor, and just all around just overall quicker time. And so far, I mean, they hit me up the other day saying they had another flower strain ready, so I think it's working for them.
Yeah, that's super cool. What else do we have coming in this week or next week? Anything cool coming in?
Oh, I have great deals coming for people. I have 3 amazing deals. One is going to be Pine Sol, which if you're listening to the podcast, you're going to get for a special deal. Just tell them you listen to the podcast. Pine Sol was the special word of the week, and you're going to get that Pine Sol for a $24 pre-tax price. I don't know after tax because I'm only good with gram math. I sell the same thing when I'm in the store. Luckily, I have a computer for me. So yeah, Pine Sol. Remember it. Deep dive into your brain. If you want a great deal, that's what you want.
So it's 20. What was the price again, Zach?
$24 pre-tax. And let me just...
For what?
A 4-gram bag. So if put it in perspective, our last deal we had, which was a crazy deal, was a 4-gram bag for $36, and that put it for $44 after tax. So this is going to be way under that.
Insane. Yep,
Yeah.
That's the lowest we've had, even with our 420 deal.
Yeah, I'm going mad, all right? I'm just losing my mind here. I'm wanting to see more faces.
And this is the importance of listening to the podcast, because the only people that are going to know about this are the people that are listening today.
Yeah, so don't tell your friends. Make them listen.
Every Wednesday, dropping a new episode, 420. Star Media drops it the very next day on Thursdays.
No, on Wednesdays.
No, we drop Wednesdays, and Star Media drops on Thursdays.
Oh, see, this is why I smoke.
He smokes before this episode. I don't, so I got the facts straight.
Not just before the episode. It's like every other hour. But thanks. What they always said, episode 420, or code 420 is what the cops said. Speaking of that, yeah, great times about to happen. 710's coming up. Hopefully, we're going to do something up here for the dispo as well. I know we're going to have our carts and disposables probably sell just because, they're oil. Got to have the oil on sale for 710. Even though it's not a flower holiday, we'll probably have some sales on that as well. So definitely ask your bud tenders about some things popping up soon. And we have a lot more to talk about. So
we shout out to Coastless. They got a new sign up, and that looks super good. The friends of ours, they got another dispensary in town, and it looks really good. So shout out to them getting their sign up, and it looks great.
Yeah, I actually drove by and took a picture. I was gonna send it to our group chat. I was like, they needed that. I feel like because I don't know when the wind took down the bullpen sign, but it was just sitting on the side forever. I was like, they need to do something there.
Yeah, there's the Super 8 sign was just
the Super 8, not the bullpen.
Yeah, the big banner, yep.
That was a crazy windstorm. I don't know how we survived that.
Right.
And, yeah, we have more deli style flower coming up very soon. We got it in, I'd like to say yesterday. I have 4 new strains coming out. We have 2 new sativas. We were very lacking on the sativa strains and even the pre-pack. But now if you come in, I have around 6 pre-pack sativa strains and honestly only 3 indicas. So now it's like a complete vice versa. So if you were disappointed on my sativa selection before, now you might be a little bit disappointed on my indica selection, but now I'm booming with sativas. So, I told my cultivators I wanted a straight sativa run and they understood what I wanted, and now I need a little bit more indicas. And I have some more concentrates coming. I had 2 good phone calls yesterday. One, roughly still around the month out, but they are a small batch. They're from Blake's MN. They are out of Moorhead, but they are wanting to work with specific retailers to try to get their product out across Minnesota. They are a micro, so I think on the phone they told me they only had roughly around like 400 square feet of green canopy to use, but in that 400 square feet they had over 100 plants. So they're still going to be producing, and they have a lot more space to accommodate to if they do blow up.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more cultivators coming out, and starting in August for sure. If not before then, we're going to be able to get a lot more variety. It's just a timing thing where right now we're just getting the people who just started getting their first crops, and they're kind of have select people they're getting them to, and now that they're going to be getting crops more often, we should be getting more variety. Is that right, Zach?
Exactly that. And one of the things I do want you to remember when you're walking into a store, a lot of these cultivators, this is their first harvest. So yeah, a lot of people are THC driven. They want 30% THC. They want 50% THC. That's really not going to happen probably for another 50% is never going to happen. But you're probably not going to see solid 30% ones probably for another year, I'd like to say, till all these cultivators get dialed in. Not just the cultivators, all these testing facilities get dialed in. I've had multiple cultivators message me that they've sent their stuff for testing and they got a lower number than what they wanted. They told them to retest it, and then the test went 6% higher. So there's definitely variables in the testing facilities as well that kind of need dialed out as well. So, and it's all a learning curve. This is new things for Minnesota. We didn't have 6 testing facilities to test rec weed. We didn't have 6 facilities to test the carts, disposables, and edibles. They're new just like us. So they are also learning. So I know it sucks to hear, but it's a waiting game. You got to be patient with Minnesota as we're slowly still getting on our feet. I say slowly because we legalized roughly around 4 years ago. So, it's a slow outcome, but I promise from what I've seen in a lot of other states, it is very, very slow rollout, but it's a good rollout. And not just from my perspective, but in all of the lectures that I've, tortured and sat through myself, even the metric officials have said it is a slow rollout, but it's a good rollout. They are doing things proper, and, unlike the strawberry clusters that OCM approved and now they're not approving anymore, they're doing things proper. So it's slow, but, we're about to get on our feet. I'd like to say end of the year, we're going to see better prices and a lot more stability in the market. So
yeah, and we've had now 2 more labs open up in Minnesota.
2 labs open, but 1 shut.
And 1 shut. So we're making short progress on lab testing, which is interesting because I just found out in South Dakota, in their medical market, they had 1 lab for a long time, and then they had 2. Now they're back down to 1 as well. The one on the west side of the state did close down. So they didn't have the demand, and which is crazy. And we need the labs here. So it tells you the difference between the medical market and the recreational market are night and day difference.
Yep, and a big factor of that is the qualifying conditions that medical. You have to qualify in South Dakota. They kind of don't give it out willy nilly like a lot of other states. Like in Florida, I could go in there and be like, I can't sleep, I can't eat, and they'll be like, oh, here's your card. South Dakota's a little bit more particular on the case by case scenario, and even if I were to get a card down there next year, my same case might not qualify me for that card. So they are, even though statistically, I think the med card program is actually up 34% is what I read down there. Even though they're up, the demand isn't there because they just don't have enough people who have debilitating issues. So when you compare that to a rec, you don't need a debilitating issue. If you just want to have a good time and you're 21, you could walk in. So the market in the product selection there is pretty huge. Even in Minnesota, if you go to a lot of stores that are medical and rec, you're getting the same product. The only thing different is the tax.
Right. So on the medical, they don't require the 15%. Is that right?
Yep. I don't know if they even require the 6.875.
Wow.
So yeah, because it's medicine. I think it's taxed on a whole different ratio. I think it's like 2 or 3%.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. And it's the same way with the tribes too. So if you're on tribal land, they're not required to use the 15% as well, or the 6.875.
Yeah, they all tribals tax 3% flat basis, and they say it all. If you go to their websites, that's what they say. They have a 3% sales fee, and it just goes straight to tribal ground.
Yeah, so that's definitely a benefit, but the benefit for us is we're in a cool town.
Cool town, cool owner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're definitely happy we're in Laverne and not in a tribal area. We have a cool team. Speaking of a cool team, we just added a kind of a new team member. One of our employees, Hunter, just had a son.
Yeah,
right before the podcast started. So that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely is. I know he's been nervous back and forth, and I understand the feeling, guys. Henry's just 2 now. I was like, it's a learning curve, but I was like, you're gonna have fun. I was like, luckily his I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but his girlfriend has 2 other kids, so luckily she's well prepared. But for him, it's definitely gonna be night and day difference.
Yep. So we'll just make sure he gets plenty of time to actually work, get away from.
Yeah, I was about to say
kids,
like
right?
me,
You got to
like
schedule an extra or what?
Oh yeah, well he did tell me he was gonna be there Thursday.
No way, he's not gonna be there.
Hey! When I had Henry, I had to go close 26th Street the day after, so I don't want to hear it. Marcy scheduled me to close.
That's wild. But if you do see Hunter at the store, congratulate him. It's pretty exciting. So
yeah, he won't be there unless he wants to. I promise. We're not forcing him.
So what else is happening, Zach, in the high fidelity or the urban legend world? Anything exciting happening in urban legend? Oh my
gosh, tons of new stuff coming in. I tell you all the time I have someone new calling me saying they have new products. So when I tell you if I'm not at the shop, I'm still working. I promise I am still working. I have new flower coming from, I think, 3 different new cultivators. So you're going to see some new flower you haven't seen before. Some of them are a little bit lower on the THC side, but they are small batch and hand-grown, or obviously they're all hand-grown, but they're hand-trimmed. They're not machine trimmed, so they took time. They plucked each individual of these buds, and they're well sought for strains. If you know what Z is, it's in 2 of the strains. So I know you're going to be excited if you like Z. Z's a candy strain, and usually one of my up my alley because I hate gassier things. But speaking of gassier things, we got some new Unbound in. It's a Pluto 45. It's an indica. I said we were lacking on indicas, but we did get one in, and it put me out on my rocker. I hate gassy things, but the Pluto 45 was so gassy, it was good. It was crazy. I was telling Hunter, I was like, we got another one in. It was called, I think, Lemon Illuminati, and lemon's my go-to terp. I wanted to love that one more, but that Pluto 45, I smoked it first. I was like, that was good. And I don't remember the strains. If you go to Unbound's website, they are phenomenal at that, and they actually show all their strains, crosses, the terpene profile, and what you're gonna smoke and feel it. And pretty much they dialed it in, and it was exactly what they wrote on there. So it was pretty cool to get that in and try. And then we also have a new flower coming from Disco, hopefully soon. I ordered it yesterday. It is called
Dun dun dun.
Hyperion. It is another lemon cross, so it's a hybrid. It's amnesia, because when you smoke it, you're going to get a little bit of a fuzzy feeling. Lemon, and then another one I've never heard before, Bajo. So I had never heard that strain, but it sounds super interesting. But it's still on the lower THC side. I think it's a 14%. But that 14% Medusa, it was a phenomenal sativa. So even though they're lower THCs, I'm picking them more than the Lit OG, which is a 29%. I don't usually like to smoke higher THCs because usually never really does anything extra for me. These lower THC ones are getting me feeling quite right.
Very cool. And make sure you're everybody's on the rewards, because I know Zach recently has been about once a week sending out text messages telling people about crazy deals that the only people that know about are the people in the text group. So everybody who comes into the store gets signed up. I don't even think can you do it online, Zach? They sign up?
Nope. So when you come into the store, they'll scan your ID, and when they do that, just ask them if your phone number's linked. Simple solution. If it's not, you just link it. Good news is it backlogs every single transaction you've had. So say you've been shopping since January and you don't have your rewards linked, you link it, you'll get all those points all the way from January. And I've had someone who did that and they had 105 off, and guess what they did while they were in store? They got more product. They were like, might as well stock up. I was like, exactly. And it's cool to see, because if I didn't think a lot of people were using the rewards, and now I see quite a bit of people do. So it's pretty cool to see that people are using the rewards and they're building them up. We have a loyalty thing too. So if I get it, there's 3 dispos in town, but if you keep shopping just at one, our reward system adds up. When you get a silver, you get 1.5 points. You get, I think it's diamond or platinum, you get 2 times the points. And that's a lifetime point gain. It doesn't end, doesn't expire. So once you're there, you're there.
Yeah, super cool. And if you're in Laverne, before you go to the dispensary, you can stop by Urban Legend on Main Street. That's 218 East Main. And once a month, you can pick up a coupon there.
Yeah, and you could, if you make a purchase there, you get a 15% off. And if you don't want to make a purchase there, you get a 10% off one. So,
super cool.
And that's not for herb. That is a discount straight for high fidelity. So who doesn't want to save money on some cannabis? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you get the 10%, you knock the tax down to like 12%. You get the 15%, you're only paying sales tax on that purchase. I mean, you do that and you're saving money left and right. You're basically on the medical program.
Yeah, super cool. Anything else going on, or is this going to cut it for today, Zach?
I think we're going to wrap it up, but I want to end this on, if you have anything you want us to talk about, or if you think you would be a good star to sit in on an episode, message us. Feel free to on Instagram, on Facebook. Come into the shop. Let us write your name down. We're always looking for someone to come talk on Mondays, because I get it, I'm a chatterbox, but sometimes I forget what I talk about. So it'd be nice to have someone else. But all right, you guys have a great day. Stay terpy. Let's Be Blunt is recorded at Star Media Podcasting Suite in downtown Laverne, Minnesota. If you'd like more information about renting the suite, contact Star Media. See our show notes for more details.